everyone, it's Laura from Our Oily House, and today I'm going to show you how to make a homemade vapor rub using essential oils. I have several memories of my mom and my babysitter and even my grandma rubbing that gooey stuff on the bottom of my feet and putting my socks on. And it wasn't until I was a mom that I realized that stuff is called Vicks Vapor Rub. And it is very effective whenever you put it onto the bottoms of your feet to help whenever you have a lot of congestion and cold and different things going on. So when I had my first child, maybe when she was about 6 months old, is whenever I decided to get into essential oils, and I started DIYing a lot of my own things for her just so I knew exactly what was in the product, and I liked the idea of using natural, pure essential oils. So I have come up with a recipe to make my own vapor rub, and I have 4 children now, and I have made up this concoction several times to rub onto their chest or onto the bottoms of their feet. So if you're wondering, a little like side note, why we put essential oils or things like Vicks Vapor Rub on the bottoms of our feet, that is where your largest pores are. So when you put it there, it absorbs into the body and into the bloodstream a little bit faster. And then also I like to suggest putting essential oils there for a couple of reasons. One, it is less sensitive skin there. And so if you have any type of a reaction or you're trying something for a first time, that's a great place to apply it. And if you're using them on a baby, putting them down there and putting their socks on will avoid them getting it onto their hands and getting it into their eyes and their mouth. I'm gonna jump right into making this recipe. It is super simple. All you need is some coconut oil, which I have 1/4 cup of coconut oil here. And then I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of cocoa butter. You can also use shea butter if you have that on hand. And then I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of beeswax. And I'm putting this all into a bowl that I'm then going to place over this pot to make it into a double boiler. And once everything is melted, then we will remove it from the heat and add in our essential oils. Okay, everything is melted, so I'm going to remove this from the heat. Now I'm going to let this cool slightly because I don't want it to be boiling hot when I put in the essential oils, because that can actually take away some of their therapeutic grade to them. So I'm going to let it cool slightly, but then also I'm not going to let it cool completely because I don't want it to harden back up with the beeswax, the coconut oil. It is going to firm back up whenever it is completely cool. I have 4 oils here that I'm going to use, I think are going to be best for this vapor rub. Now, if you don't have these 4, I have a list over on the blog with some more options of essential oils that are going to be really good for healthy respiratory function. But today we're going to be using clove bud, lemon, eucalyptus, and peppermint essential oil. These 4 are really going to be good for opening up airways and promoting clear, healthy breathing. So I'm going to be doing 10 drops of each of these in here. Now this would be perfect for an adult. Now if you're making this for a child, you might want to cut this in half and do 5 drops of each. And if you're making it for a baby, you can even dilute it further by doing about 2 drops of each one. And then I'm going to give this a good stir to make sure all the essential oils are incorporated into the liquid. And then I like to store this into one of these little, I think this is 4 ounces of a mason jar. It makes about that amount, so I can just pour it in here. If you have a larger mason jar, that's fine too. Anything that's gonna be in an airtight container is best for this. And then I also made some little labels for these, and I have an option to cut them out for a regular size mason jar and also for a wide mouth one, depending on what you decide to store it in. So I'm just going to pour it here into my jar. And as you can see it fits perfectly in here. And then I'm just gonna let this sit here with the lid off. And then when you go to use your all natural vapor rub, you're just going to put your fingers on it, and then you can take it and rub it onto your chest or onto the bottoms of your feet. If you guys are looking for more essential oil education, I have a free online class where I talk all about how we use essential oils in our home. It's an online class that's completely free, and there's a link for that down in the description below. And if this is your first time by my channel, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. I get out new videos every single week on essential oil education, natural remedies, and I share a lot of different healthy recipes. Thank you so much for stopping by our Willie House.